Hey, what's up guys, Syed here, and this is a review that a lot of you have been asking for, so I'm here to deliver. Before I begin, I got this GTR with the help of the guys at sgcarbrokers.com, so I want to thank them for making this review possible. So check them out, links in the description below. This car needs no introduction, you already know what it is, but I'm just gonna introduce it anyway. This is a 2008 Nissan R35 GTR. Now in stock form, this car comes with about 479 horsepower, 588 Newton meters of torque, and does 0 to 100 in about 3.6 seconds. But this car is tuned. So this car comes with, wait for it, 800 horsepower. 800. That's a ridiculous amount of power. So as you can see, this car has a bunch of modifications, but the more prominent mods made to this car were things like the hybrid turbo, some handling modifications like camber kits, stuff like that, the rocket bunny body kit as you can see, top secret bonnet, the one in front, and carbon fiber barrel rims, which are really expensive by the way. Also, if you're wondering what the stickers on the car are for, it's because the owner of this car does halal seafood Char delivery, which is the first of its kind in Singapore. And what better way to advertise your business than on your shiny purple rocket bunny Nissan GTR with 800 horsepower. They deliver simple foods like fried rice, hor fun, to more complicated stuff like chili crabs. What's interesting about them is that their delivery time is as fast as a GTR. They take about an hour-ish to deliver island-wide usually. So I think it's good for those of you who are having gatherings, maybe Chinese New Year dinner next year, or if you just want to test their delivery speed. You can order online on their website, which is very clearly stated on that massive rear wing behind, buitahan.sg, and you can use my code CarLifeSG for 10% off your order. So don't miss out. Anyway, back to this GTR. This R35 is different from the previous generation GTRs, the R34, R33, R32. They share very little in common except for the tail lights, which have that two circles. Yeah, you get what I mean. By the way, I don't know whether you've wondered, but is the R35 GTR a Skyline? If you look up online, you'll see debates of people claiming that the R35 is a Skyline. Some people say yes, some people say no. Personally, I don't think it is, because in Japan, the Nissan Skyline is known as the Infiniti Q50. And if you look at Nissan's websites, they never refer to this R35 GTR as a Skyline. They just say Nissan GTR. Whereas if you look at the previous models on their website as well, they will say R33 Skyline GTR, R34 Skyline GTR, but when it comes to this R35, they just say Nissan GTR. So if the manufacturer doesn't call it a Skyline, then I think it's pretty safe to assume that it's not. I don't want to get into that whole debate, but I think it's pretty clear that it's not a Skyline. This is a GTR, which means it's all about the power, performance, the drive. That being said, I'll go through the exterior, interior and practicality really quickly so that we can move on to the good part. Exterior wise, this car has a rocket bunny body kit, which makes it look super aggressive. Also, the car looks pretty big and bulky from the outside, unlike the previous generation GTRs, the R34, R33. The design wise, you can't mistake it for anything else on the road because it's a GTR, like the signature headlights and the tail lights. I don't think there's any other car on the road that looks like it. The top secret bonnet, very aggressive. That massive rear wing, very aggressive. Carbon fiber rims, super aggressive. Plus the stickers and the paintwork, this car really stands out. Interior wise, the materials feel really solid. They are not like very luxurious kind of materials, but they feel really solid. And even this car is like what, 10 years old? More than 10 years old, and you can still see that the materials are holding up really well. You get some soft touch plastic here, leather. This is very nice leather by the way. Metal, carbon fiber, and this steering wheel, it's like, wow, the ergonomics of this steering wheel is really good. It's one of the nicest steering wheels I've used. They know you're gonna drive fast, so they designed it to be, yeah, it's really good. This multi-function display is like, it displays everything. I've never seen so much information for a car before. So you have your G forces when you're cornering, your engine oil temperature, engine oil pressure, water temperature, engine oil temperature, boost, fuel flow, acceleration, how much you are pressing the throttle, when you brake, how much of the brake you are using, fuel range, speed, braking force, cornering force, gear position. It's really a lot of useful information. By the way, this screen was actually designed by Polyphony Digital, which were the creators of the Gran Turismo game. Practicality wise, for such a sporty car, actually it's quite good. You get some useful door bins here at the side. Your center compartment isn't the best, it's quite shallow actually. You get 2 cup holders. Glove box is also pretty... You can keep a lot of stuff inside. So for a sports car, it's actually quite good. The boot is also quite deep and quite big. The only problem is that the opening itself isn't very big, but the boot space looks really big. You can keep like... The owner of this car kept like a box inside, like I think a portable chair or portable tent or something inside there. So yeah, it is really useful. Practicality is fine until you talk about the rear seat space. You don't get any knee room, and because the rear window is so slanted, my head is actually touching against the rear window, which is I think the first time ever that instead of my head touching the roof, it's actually touching the rear window. Yeah, but you don't get a lot of space back there basically. So for short journeys, you can ferry your friends back there, but for longer journeys, I don't think they'll be your friend anymore. Okay, now on to the fun part, the drive. Now before I begin, you have to bear in mind that this GTR has been modified. So my driving experience here today may not be similar to the driving experience you get in a stock GTR. So let's talk about the basics first. You have 3 different driving modes: R mode, normal mode and special mode. R mode is for maximum performance. So it sets the transmission to the quickest shifts and it adjusts the shocks, the suspensions, the VDC, vehicle dynamic control, for high performance driving basically. Normal mode is for daily drives, and special mode is where you can like sort of tweak the car's settings. So for example, you can turn off your ESC, your traction control. You can put the suspension in comfort mode while you do that, and you basically can set up the car for a long distance comfortable driving. Transmission wise, you get a 6-speed DCT, so gear shifts are really quick. I think it's like 0.15 seconds, something like that. The car can shift gears in the same time that it takes you to blink your eyes. That's how fast it shifts. Body roll, there's none. Really, there's no body roll whatsoever. Steering feel, it's not too heavy. For such a sporty car, it's more to the lighter side. I don't feel like it's a burden, to turn the steering wheel. It's really well weighted. Steering is also very sharp. Small adjustments to the steering wheel and the car will respond. Feedback is really good. I would have to say it's actually not too bad. I was expecting it. From the look of this car, you know that, or you suspect that it's going to be very uncomfortable, it's going to be very harsh, but actually it's not. It's quite civilized, as in terms of the suspension. It's not the most comfortable car out there, but for such a sporty car, and it's a GTR, you can daily drive this car. I'll get to the daily driving part in just a bit. Visibility wise, for such a sporty car, it's actually very good. When I'm driving this car, never have I once thought to myself like, shit, I can't really see that much out of anything. It feels like a regular car in terms of the visibility. Okay, yeah, so daily driving this car, what you can do is you just put the car in normal mode, or you don't mess with anything here except the suspension here. You just flick the switch down and then you put it into comfort mode. Your ESC is on, of course, and yeah, it's an 800 horsepower car that you can drive to the office. Oh, I see a WRX. It's quite amazing how this GTR is able to offer you like 2 different kinds of driving experience. One is like really sporty for you to go to the track and kick ass, and then the other one would be for you to like daily drive this car, make it civilized. So is this car easy to drive? Yes, it is. It's very easy to drive. Even Nissan said so on its website. So yeah, it really lives up to that expectation, because even like someone who just got their license, or someone who, you know, not very experienced, you step into a GTR and you can immediately drive off. It's easy to drive, really easy to drive. One thing I like about this GTR is that it's so driver focused in terms of the ergonomics, the steering wheel design, the infotainment system, the display. I mean, you know, you can see all this different information here. The bolstering on the seats, this is one of the best like bolstering on seats I've ever experienced. It really keeps me in position even when I go fast into a corner. It's really like you and the car just go into the corner as one, because it has all-wheel drive. I know it's not gonna like slip or veer off the road, and because of how the steering is designed, you know, your thumb 10 and 2 position here, it's really the ultimate like sports car experience. What do I like and dislike about this car? It's really hard to fault this GTR, really. It's really difficult. What I like, number one, I like the way it looks. You can't mistake it for anything else. It's a GTR. Number two, the power is just ridiculous. It's really like a supercar killer for half the price, 1/3 of the price. It also has that branding, you know, GTR. It's a name that when you say it out, people will be like, oh, GTR. The branding is really strong. So that's like already 3 things I think that I mentioned what I like about this car. 4th thing, how easy it is to live with. It's really, you can daily drive this car. If you only have enough money to buy one car and you want a sports car or you want a really fast car, this is the car you should go for. Because like, I mean, if you have kids, they can fit in the back, no problem. Once they grow up, you'll have to change car anyway. But if it's just like, maybe you're a bachelor or you just have a wife or a girlfriend whatsoever, no kids, this car is perfect. Now I know why the GTR is so popular. It's because it's a really balanced car in terms of it can become a weapon. You can race and you can take on anyone and you won't feel scared. At the same time, it's a car that you can send your wife to work in. You know what I dislike about the car? It's very hard to find a fault with this car. Okay, if I have to nitpick, I'll just say rear seats could have been a bit better, as in the space in the rear seats. I think, okay, maybe another issue that I have with this car is that because it's not as expensive as supercars, you can see it more often as compared to supercars. Supercars are more rare. This is a bit more common. So yeah, I'm honestly nitpicking. Those two are really, it's nothing compared to the experience this car can give you. So yeah, that's about it guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Do like, share, subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys in the next review.